So, as a practicing pediatrician, I am very, very concerned not only by the increase in autism, but by the increase in chronic disease of children. When I first started in the early 80s, we did not have nearly as many children who had neurodevelopmental disorders. In my home state of Virginia, the incidence of ADHD over a 15-year period increased 66-fold. So that even if we make the assumption that some of those cases were due to overdiagnoses, I could throw out half of those cases and we would still have a clear and compelling increase that we have to recognize and do something about. In that same 15-year period, we had an 11-fold increase in children with autism. And this was clearly apparent to me as a practicing pediatrician. It is a matter of both research and intuition and keeping a very open mind in order to try to figure out what might be some of the causes for this dramatic change in children's health. And our model at the Autism Research Institute is to consider the possibility that there are genetic predispositions and then environmental triggers. And we're actually concerned about a huge array of potential environmental triggers. We're very concerned about the fact that this generation of children live in a world in which we have thousands of chemicals that were unknown in the generations before us. And not only have they not been tested well individually, they've also not been tested in terms of their synergistic effects. And it is a well-known rule of toxicology that a toxin that may be at a level that would not be harmful if it were in isolation can actually make, when in combination with another toxin, very severe adverse effects on the organism. So we're worried about things like organic pesticides or exposure to herbicides or exposure to environmental toxins like lead and mercury. We're concerned about certain infectious agents acting as a precipitating event. And the crucial thing to think about is not just this synergy between genetic predisposition and environmental triggers, but also the issue of timing. And that is going to be one of the things that's going to make this very difficult to figure out. The same environmental insult in the first trimester of pregnancy would give you a different result if that environmental insult happened in the second trimester of pregnancy. For a given child in a certain weakened state, or if they were ill or on medication, might suffer an adverse event from an intervention or an environmental trigger that a child a month older who was healthy at the time would not even be fazed by. So our work has to be built around the individual child and the unique circumstances of that child's biochemistry and overall medical conditions.